Hey everybody, Dr. Shadi Ireifej here, surgeon at TrueCare for Pets, Studio City, Los Angeles, California. This is Vet Talks. Let's pause for a minute where we take a quick look at a topic of the week. And this week we're going to talk about veterinary research, and not from the standpoint of the doctors or veterinary schools, but about you as the pet owner, the client. The goal of this discussion is going to be whether or not it is appropriate for pet owners to collect their own research and present it to their veterinarian when they're going to see the doctor for a consult on their pet. And then the second part of this will be the veterinarian point of view on whether or not they should be accepting of a client bringing in their own research. So before we get into that, I kind of want to define what research actually is. Googling a topic and looking online for information on a specific topic is not technically research per se. I'm taking the term, of course, literally. Research is when you're in a setting that you are trying to test a hypothesis and see whether or not it is correct or incorrect. Can you prove it to be true or not? Or rather show it to be true or not, or at least show supporting evidence that something may be a valid hypothesis or not. That's a true research project. That's collecting data, trying a new medication on a bunch of pets, or doing something in a laboratory setting. There's different levels of research, a topic that goes beyond this discussion, but research itself is actually a very complex endeavor, and the doctors and professors and whoever else are performing research all the time. Human medicine, veterinary medicine, and every other field, science-based field. So that's actual research. Googling something and picking out information and from different websites or whatever is not technically research. But as a pet owner, that's what you've got. You're not going to go and search the medical literature unless you yourself are medically trained. And even with doing that, there could be thousands of articles, medical journal articles on a specific topic. So you'll never get through it in time. And think critically about every single paper to be able to compile a list of conclusions and therefore questions to present to your veterinarian. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to Google stuff online and you're going to try and figure out, is there sort of a common trend online regarding a specific topic that may be affecting your pet? And are the information that you are collecting, are they viable? Is it from a good resource? And so you're going to do whatever that means to you. You're going to do that. Collect your information. It'll bring up a list of questions, and then you're going to end up bringing it to the veterinarian who there you go. So as a client, I think it's absolutely fair, and at this point, at this day and age, expected for you to actually go online and do your own research. You kind of have to. We have the internet. I mean, it's everywhere. We have it on our phones and our computers, and so it behooves you to go and look. You might as well. Even though some of the information you find may not be necessarily accurate or is subject to an individual doctor's experience level or unique to your pet's specific case, you kind of have to look. I mean, you should. It's almost ignorant not to, I suppose. But as long as you keep in mind that, number one, you're not performing research, you're collecting whatever information you think seems viable from online, and you're trying to get kind of a sense of what's going on with your pet. And two, as long as you eventually just respect the veterinarian's opinion, as they are the person who's been trained with this, has gone through all the research that's out there, and also has experience, which matters. And sometimes experience doesn't necessarily jive well with the medical research. So as long as you keep those things in mind, then absolutely bring literature, all the literature you want to your veterinarian, and be as informed as you can be, and then be open to what your veterinarian has to say. I think it's absolutely fine. The veterinarian aspect to this is all over the place. I would say for the most part, veterinarians really hate when a client brings in their own research results from online because we don't know what sources you collect the information from. We don't know how viable those sources are, and then your own interpretation is going to, you as a pet owner, your own interpretation of that data is going to be construed. And so and not to mention, you're doing this with an assumption that you know what's wrong with your pet, and when in actuality might be incorrect, or your pet may be suffering from a specific ailment, and you're correct in researching. However, because of your own pet's unique circumstance, all the information you found isn't really applicable to your pet's case. So veterinarians on the whole kind of it's a pet peeve of theirs. However, I would urge the veterinary community to actually be more accepting of pet owners who are taking the time and the energy and effort to actually look up information online, compile a list of questions and conclusions and inquiries and whatever, and look at it seriously, because they're going to do that anyway. And you might as well just take it in as a teamwork effort. I mean, really, it's what it comes down to. The pet owner is concerned for their pet. They've got the pet's best intentions in mind, and the veterinarian, same thing. They've got your pet's intentions and best intentions in mind, and so we're all trying to work together to collaborate to figure it out. So as a veterinarian myself, with over 13 years experience in the field, I would suggest that veterinary professionals take the research performed by the pet owner seriously and work with them. And sometimes you never know. Sometimes I've had a few clients that will bring up a point that I would not have thought of for whatever reason. And so sometimes it can be helpful. And pet owners are actually more likely to be creative because they're not stuck in the sort of day-to-day routine of veterinary medicine, and they're not trained a certain way of doing things. They're open. Their mind is open because it's not their profession, it's not what they specialize in, and they're looking for any and all possibilities that will help their pet. So sometimes they come up with an idea or a treatment option or some tidbit of information that actually is something that will be an eye-opener for the veterinarian. So I would urge veterinarians to be open-minded with the research that the client collects. I think it is important not only from a teamwork standpoint, but also to make sure we as veterinary professionals keep our minds open to other ideas that maybe we would not have thought of otherwise. So that's sort of my thoughts on clients and pet owners doing their own sort of Google searches to figure out what's going on with their pet. The more informed you can be, the better. And I think the veterinarian should welcome this because it's going to happen anyway. It's not going to go away. It's just going to continuously get more pronounced. And I think that it is important as a veterinary professional to keep an open mind, to be accepting of that. It's all a teamwork approach to the pet's care. At the end of the day, we only want the pet to be better, and that's what the pet owner and the veterinarian wants. So I hope that helps. Leave below any questions or comments. This is Dr. Shadi Ireifej, Vet Talks. Let's pause for a minute, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.